Hi, third grade. We're going to do a review of Solomon's Reign. I just want to say a few things about it before we go into our notebook. So Solomon's Reign in this card is sort of an overview, which is kind of a summary or kind of hitting the highlights of this story, which it spans over 1 Kings chapters 1 through 11 and also 2 Chronicles 1 through 9. So it's the whole story of Solomon hitting the highlights, okay, overview. And so we are going to do 5 more cards on Solomon. So there's a lot on Solomon. I'm going to break down each part and aspect of his reign. So I'm going to reread the card for you first, and then we'll do the notebook. After David died, Solomon his son became the king of Israel. In a dream, God asked King Solomon, "What shall I give you?" Solomon requested wisdom. Because he asked for wisdom from God rather than riches or long life, God gave him wisdom and wealth. He became the wisest and wealthiest man in all the earth. Now that there was a time of peace, Solomon was able to carry out his father's plan to build a temple to worship God. The temple was elaborately decorated with gold. It was built by the most talented workers and artists in the land and was located on Mount Moriah. The innermost sanctuary, the Holy of Holies, was where the Ark of the Covenant was kept. Solomon's wisdom and accomplishments were so well known that visitors came from distant lands to see the temple and his wealth. The Queen of Sheba came to ask him questions and see his wealth, and was very impressed with what God had blessed him with. But Solomon, tempted by foreign women, turned from God and became wicked before he died. He reigned over Israel for 40 years, and his son Rehoboam became king. So this story about Solomon's reign kind of hits the points in order. We're going to it's going to be great. We're going to talk about Solomon actually when he got wisdom from God, that they talk about that a little bit in the story. And then we're going to do the Proverbs and Ecclesiastes, which are the writings of Solomon. Then the temple after that. And I hope we're back in school by then. We can build the temple, or else we're going to have to build it at home. The Queen of Sheba visits Solomon, and then the end of Solomon's reign. So there's quite a few cards about Solomon going forward. So let's write our notebook about the reign of Solomon. So Solomon's reign. I'm going to change the camera down here. Hopefully it will be easy to read on my handy dandy notebook. Okay, Solomon's reign. Almost spelled that wrong. All right. What is the scripture reference? Now, again, it's a span of chapters in 2 different books. So we have the reference is 1 Kings chapters 1 through 11 and 2 Chronicles 1 through 9. Okay, so that's a lot to remember, but I know you can do it. I hope this is able to read this. I could use like 4 cameras to make better videotapes, but that's okay. We work with what we have. Who was Solomon's father? And we know that right away, don't we? This is a who, and it was David was Solomon's father. David was Solomon's father. Okay. What did Solomon request of God? What? Solomon requested wisdom. Now, what do we know about wisdom, don't we, from studying the Proverbs? Okay. We know that is the ability to tell between right and wrong. Okay, that's wisdom. And that's what Solomon wanted. Now, this is a fill in the blank. During Solomon's reign, there was peace in Israel. So we're going to put words. We're going to words. Oh, there was peace in Israel. I'm going to just write it out. During Solomon's reign, there was peace in Israel. Now remember that David, his father, was the warrior king. Okay, his reign was through many battles, and he wanted to build the temple, but God said no, basically. And we remember the stories that went on there. So during the time of peace, where Solomon was reigning, and there was lots of prosperity, and in the land, and we're going to talk about this as we do the next cards. Solomon was able to build the temple. Okay, and there's a few characters that we're going to have to remember, like the king of Tyre. Remember that guy? Keep him in your mind because he's coming up again too. Okay, so let's get back to this. The next question is, describe the temple. So the temple, this is a long piece that we want to put in here. The temple. And we're going to describe it. All right. The temple was elaborately decorated with gold. The temple was elaborately B-O-R. Oh, Mrs. Prestamo made a mistake. Let's fix that. B-O-R-A-T-E-L-Y. Elaborately decorated with gold. The temple was gold all over and inside and everywhere. Okay? It was built let's get you in the camera, was built on Mount Moriah. It was also built by the most talented artists. And the last part, it had a place called the Holy of Holies. The Holy of Holies was where the Ark of the Covenant was kept. Okay, so that's a lot to remember about the temple. We're actually going to go over this a lot. Temple was elaborately decorated with gold. It was built on Mount Moriah. I do that little thing there. I was born in a place called Mount Vernon, and so we always wrote MT with a small t like that. It's just an old abbreviation from the old days. It was also built by the most talented artists. The Holy of Holies was where the Ark of the Covenant was kept. Now, we remember the story about the Ark of the Covenant, where Uzzah touched it, and he was struck down because the Israelites were moving it like the Philistines were moving it, and that was not what God had prescribed. He wanted the Levites to move it in a special way. So that was not going to happen during David's lifetime. He wasn't going to build the temple where the Holy of Holies was. It was still kept in a tent. It was still kept not in a temple. Okay. The next question was, who came to visit? So, who came to visit Solomon? And that was the Queen of Sheba. The Queen of Sheba. I hope I didn't miss a question. Let me just make sure. No, I didn't miss a question. Okay. The Queen of Sheba visited Solomon. To see the temple and his wealth. And we'll get into more details about the Queen of Sheba going forward. Okay, I'm going to turn my page. Look at that. I'm going to go on to another page here because of that temple question is quite large. So the next question is another fill in the blank. Late in life, Solomon was tempted by foreign women and he turned from God. So this one is a fill-in. These are words. And the words were foreign women, and God. Those go in the blanks. Okay? Later in life, he was tempted by foreign women, and he turned from God. And we will get into details on that. And then the last one was, how long did he reign? And so Solomon reigned for 40 years. Okay, so that is our review lesson on King Solomon. And I will have probably some sheets for you next week, some puzzles to do, or maybe a fill in the blank. I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you at 2 p.m. today. Bye.